The transfer window is Celtic's main priority now as we look to bolster our squad for the coming season. In today's video, we are going to discuss the big boost we have received ahead of the window opening, whilst going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Since their formation in 2006, the Green Brigade have been a defining force in the Celtic support, combining relentless backing of the team with strong political and cultural identity. Based in the North Curve, their displays, chants and social activism have become inseparable from the modern matchday experience at Celtic Park. But behind the spectacle lies a growing rift between the group and the club's board, with relations now at a worrying standstill. The group recently spoke to fan outlet 90 Minute Cynic, outlining how all official contact with the club ceased in December 2023 during a ban imposed by Celtic. Since then, multiple attempts to reopen dialogue have been ignored or brushed off. For over a decade prior, the Green Brigade engaged in structured meetings with board members and supporter liaison officer John Paul Taylor, allowing concerns on both sides to be aired and tensions managed behind closed doors. That pragmatic, if not always smooth relationship has now evaporated. A key source of frustration is the approach of CEO Michael Nicholson. While he had previously been part of productive meetings with the group in his earlier role, they say his promotion to CEO marked a stark withdrawal. He is now described as a bland nothingness, with the group accusing him of offering platitudes and political posturing instead of honest engagement. Peter Lawwell, for all the clashes during his tenure, is credited by the group for at least maintaining open lines of communication. It was under Lawwell that the Green Brigade were first granted their section at Celtic Park, something they remember as a product of negotiation and mutual recognition, not always agreement, but a working relationship nonetheless. Beyond internal matters, wider issues have further soured trust. There is a growing perception among the Green Brigade and other supporters that while the club's board happily markets Celtic's heritage of Irish identity, working-class roots and solidarity with global causes, they do not allow those values to be expressed organically by the support. Displays highlighting social justice or standing with the people of Palestine, for instance, have often drawn punitive responses from the club or outside authorities, with little backing from Parkhead. This sense of double standards has been compounded by recent policing controversies. The kettling of supporters by Police Scotland before the Glasgow derby in March sparked outrage across fan groups. Yet while the club told the wider support that they were engaging with official supporter associations in response, the Green Brigade say no such meetings or discussions have taken place. The club have commissioned an independent inquiry into the incident. At a time when clubs across Europe are under pressure to stay connected to their roots, Celtic find themselves at risk of turning their back on one of the most passionate parts of their support. The Green Brigade are not without criticism, but shutting the door on them and on genuine supporter concerns does little to protect the club's identity. If anything, it puts it at greater risk. The board should be doing more. Now for the main story. Celtic are prepared to spend big in the summer transfer window and will back Brendan Rodgers following their Scottish Cup final defeat. That is according to former Man United and Blackburn chief scout Mick Brown, who remains very well connected within the game, as he exclusively told Football Insider that the defeat has proved the manager needs more backing. They are also keen to provide Rodgers with what he wants in a bid to convince him to stay, as his current contract is set to expire next summer. Football Insider revealed in April that Rodgers could be tempted to quit Celtic this summer if English clubs express an interest in him taking over. While no contract talks are believed to have taken place yet, the boss will expect to have the board's full backing to land his top targets this summer. This comes after Football Insider revealed that Rodgers will demand Celtic back him financially as he aims to build on their success and compete in the Champions League. Brown told Football Insider in April that Rodgers could walk away from Celtic and will hold talks with the board after the season ends. The former scout, who worked closely with elite-level managers, including the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson for over a decade at Man United during their most successful period, insisted that the board are now planning to back him in the market. Brown had this to say: "The cup final defeat was a bit of kick up the backside. They're the dominant team in Scotland at the moment and have been for so long, so it's easy to take your eye off the ball in that situation. Rangers have been so far off, Celtic have hardly had to get their coats off. They've recruited well in the past, they've got a good scouting network, and they're going to need to use it again to strengthen this squad. As good as they've been, I think they lack those stellar players they've had in the past. There's been some talk about the manager's future as well, and I'm sure he expects to be backed. The board have to show that they're behind him and they share his ambitions. So I think they'll be prepared to spend big this summer. It's something they have to do because otherwise they risk that gap closing, he concluded. Rodgers is not the only one linked with a move away from Parkhead this summer, as a number of key players have been subject to speculation. Football Insider revealed on the 20th of May that Celtic are bracing for bids for Nicholas Kuhn after his breakout season in the Scottish Premiership. His Champions League performances are also said to have impressed a number of top clubs, with Premier League sides keeping an eye on his progress. This comes after Brown told Football Insider in February that Newcastle scouts have been watching Kuhn, but may instead target alternative options. In other news, Paris Saint-Germain have etched their name into European football history after dismantling Inter Milan 5-0 in the UEFA Champions League final on Saturday night, claiming their first ever European Cup and completing a stunning continental treble. The French Giants now join a select group of only 9 men's clubs to have achieved the treble of league title, domestic cup and European Cup in the same season. Among the prestigious list is Celtic, who famously became the first club to do so back in 1967 under Jock Stein. That iconic Lisbon Lions side not only conquered Europe but did so in style, defeating Inter Milan 2-1 in the final in Lisbon. Celtic's treble that season also included the Scottish League title and Scottish Cup, setting a standard that has endured through the decades. PSG's emphatic win over Inter capped off a dominant campaign for Luis Enrique's side, who steamrolled their way to glory both domestically and on the continent. The Parisians' achievement sees them added to an illustrious list which includes Ajax, PSV, Manchester United, Barcelona, Inter, Bayern Munich and Manchester City. With PSG becoming the 9th club to claim the treble, the rarity and difficulty of the feat is again underlined. It's a reminder of just how remarkable Celtic's 1967 triumph was, not just for being first, but for the fearless attacking football that defined their run. As modern superclubs spend astronomical sums in pursuit of European glory, Celtic's place in this elite company remains a proud symbol of a different era, one built on unity, ambition and belief. PSG now join that company, but the Lisbon Lions' legacy as trailblazers remains untouched. But perhaps Celtic sit in even quieter company when you consider that season they won the quadruple, the Scottish League, the Scottish Cup, the Scottish League Cup, and the European Cup. Lastly, just over a week after delivering Tottenham's first major trophy in 17 years, Ange Postecoglou is reportedly on the brink of being sacked. Despite lifting the Europa League and booking Champions League football for next season, the former Celtic manager is said to be on his way out at Spurs. Football Insider reports that the Tottenham hierarchy has already decided to cut ties with Postecoglou, having waited for the emotions of their triumph in Bilbao to cool and for the fan base's reaction to surface. The move, if true, would represent a staggering dismissal of a manager who's overcome massive adversity this season. Spurs' league campaign was a disaster. A chronic injury crisis left Ange working with a patched-up squad for most of the year, and the club stumbled to a finish just above the relegation zone. Even so, he masterminded a European run that ended with silverware, their first since 2008, and the added bonus of Champions League qualification. Celtic fans will be watching this unfold with disbelief, but not surprise. Ange was a transformative figure in Glasgow's East End, winning 5 out of 6 domestic trophies across 2 seasons and restoring a winning mentality at the club. He built a new-look side that re-established Celtic's dominance in Scotland and played football that matched the fans' expectations. What Postecoglou achieved in his short time at Celtic made his move to England inevitable, but Tottenham, true to form, appear incapable of recognising what they've got. Even now, in the face of clear progress, they look set to bin a manager who's just won them a European trophy and brought Champions League football back to the club. If the reports are accurate, it's another embarrassing chapter in the chaotic story of Spurs. Ange Postecoglou deserved better. Thankfully, if dismissed, he will not be short of offers. What are your thoughts on these? Let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.